محمد وآل محمد وعجل.
محمد وآل محمد وجل فرجه.
بسم الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام ورحمة الله.
بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين حبيب الله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد.
الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. ما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والله يريد أن يتوب عليكم ويريد الذين يتبعون الشهوات أن تميلوا ميلا عظيما. صدق الله العلي العظيم. First of all, I'd like to show my gratitude and thank you all for inviting me and all the organizers, and pray for your well-being and acceptance of your good deeds and ibadat during this beautiful month. And a lot of sawab for the organizers, all the brothers and sisters involved in putting together these programs online. I know many of us would have liked to be in person and see us each other face to face. I am in Houston, Texas right now, and most of the centers, or perhaps all of them, are doing programs in person now. But not many, but a lot of centers, other places are still doing programs online. Hopefully things improve and we will resume our normal activities in our Islamic centers. I understand you'll have been having programs so far from the beginning of this month. I'm not very informed about the details, but I've been hearing from Dr. Arif Hasnain, and I know some of you who are in Cleveland, Ohio. I've been there many years ago. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. This is 17th, as you all commemorate this month today. And tomorrow you will, inshallah, commemorate the first night of the Shahadat of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. So I thought that today, as an introduction to some of the teachings of Mawla Amir al-Mu'minin, and also in reference to this month and what it contains for us, I will translate this verse of Surah An-Nisa, verse number 27, which I just recited. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu yuridu an yatuba alaykum. Allah wants to turn towards you all. Allah intends to turn towards you all, and those who follow their desires. وَيُرِيدُ الَّذِينَ يَتَّبِعُونَ الشَّهَوَاتِ. Those who follow their desires and their shahawat, worldly passions. What do they want? They want that antamilu mailan azima. They want you to be deviated from the course. They want to misguide you, to lose your path and stray away from the right path. Mailan azima, a great divergence from the right path. If you notice that there are two things at least that come to my mind from this ayat, that Allah wants to turn towards you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obviously, He has complete knowledge of all our affairs. There's nothing hidden from Him. And that He's always with us. Even if we are ignorant or we are distracted by things, our own things, But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can never lose his sight or his focus upon all of us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Wallahu yuridu an yatuba alaykum. He wants to turn toward us. Yatuba. Yatuba is from tawbah. Now tawbah means turning towards, or ruju, turning again towards someone. Let's say someone was looking the other way, he turned towards you. Tawbah means turn towards you again. So it is possible that a person may have lost his course and had turned away from Allah, and he turns back towards Allah. This is tawbah. And it is also possible that Allah, who already is aware of everything and who's already providing you all the things and providing everybody with all the things, also turns towards you in a different sense, that he increases his guidance towards you. He provides special care for you, and he inspires you and protects you at a higher level. So although he provides a certain kind of guidance to everyone, that guidance is mostly natural guidance. For example, growth and sustenance and sunlight and oxygen and everything like that, rain and whatever. So that's for everyone, believer, non-believer, all benefit from favors of Allah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants special favors for the believers. Allah, Wallahu yuridu an yatuba alaykum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to provide you special guidance. It's like, the father provides for the family, but then he provides special guidance and special attention to a child who works extra hard and wants more attention, wants to learn more, let's say, wants more guidance than dad. Obviously, he will provide extra care and guidance and share more insight and knowledge to this son who has greater capacity. Although he would like to guide everyone, but not everyone is willing or able to receive that level of guidance. So that's one point coming from this ayat of Surah Nisa, ayat 27. And then the second part says, وَيُرِيدُ الَّذِينَ يَتَّبِعُونَ الشَّهَوَاتِ. So as if like saying, but those who, but the ayat says, وَيُرِيدُ, and, but in the sense of, so showing the contrast that Allah wants to turn towards you, and those who follow their shahawat. Shahawat is the urges we have. Shahwat, the urges or the cravings that we have. So you can imagine the cravings in two different ways. There is a time when the craving follows the aql, the wisdom. For example, you decide that, okay, this is time for me to eat. And then you look for food in the right amount and you eat it so that it will meet your needs and, all the details involved in it. But then you can also imagine shahawat in a different way. That instead of your desires following your aql, it's the other way around. That means you follow the shahawat, God forbid. That means, for example, impulsively, a person desires to have something. Now, it may not be right for him or her, but he uses all his mental abilities to get what he or she just wants to have anyways. So this is becoming an aql following the shahwat. So there are those who follow their shahwat. The shahwat is not tabi. It's not following. Rather, this person is following the shahwat. يُرِيدُ الَّذِينَ يَتَّبِعُونَ الشَّهَوَاتِ. There are those who follow, for example, a person who's hungry for power. He will bulldoze everybody who comes in his way, bribe, threaten, whatever means he can employ to grab power and control, manipulate people, whatever, because his eyes are on that, power that he wants, or the whatever he wants. So following the shahwat is something very negative. Yuridu alladhina yattabi'una shahawat. These are the people who want you to deviate from the course. So there's a right course, very carefully, laid out, which a person who follows the aql and the deen, he tries or she tries to stay on that course, straight course, which is not easy. And all those who are following their desires, they want something else. They want you to go right and left. Now the deviation could be slight. Let's say straight path, the deviation is slight, or it could be more, it could be more. It says, Antamilu Mailan Azima. They want you to divert from the course, Mailan Azima, a lot of divergence. So they're not like, for example, they will cause you to lose your path slightly and maybe diverge a little bit. No, they want you to completely go away from it. You see, here's where we can see the importance of fasting, controlling our shahwat, many of them which are halal actually. Avoiding, for example, food and drink and sexual activity, some of that, I don't know, which breaks the fasting, and certain other things, a lot of things we want to say, we want to do, which we have to avoid. So this exercise of self-control is not easy. If you talk to somebody and you tell somebody outside of our faith, this is Ramadan, you might have heard the word Ramadan, and we may know what Ramadan means a little bit, but you see, it's just very, very, very hard for these people to understand fasting. What? You stay hungry? You can't even drink all day, every day, for 30 days, 29, 30 days? Oh my God, you just notice the look on their face. 30 days without food and water. Oh my God. Now, what is this such a tough exercise for? It is mainly about our ability to control ourselves. Yes, there are health benefits there too, I'm sure. Some reports also mention, something like that. But the main thing is to stay the course or divert from the course. Allah says, I will turn towards you. So if you look at the second part of the ayah, which said, those who follow their desires, they want you to divert from the course. A lot of divergence. That means Allah will turn towards you, will keep you on the course. And this is not easy to stay the course, to be able to, keep your shahwat behind you in service of your intellect, which is not easy, It's a lifelong struggle. Obviously, fasting is for all those who are healthy and who are baligh, obviously, and in the state of purity. In case of women, so, and also they're not traveling, and they're not, obviously those things are. So a person kuntum maridan aw ala safarin fa iddatun min ayyamin ukhra. If you are sick or in travel, then you iddatum min ayyamin ukhra, then you fast the qaza and other time of the year when you have recovered, or you are in your hometown or a place where you can stay for 10 days at least. So it's a beautiful thing. This holy month of Ramadan involves a lot of room, a lot of opportunities for self-improvement. The nights of Qadr which are coming from tomorrow that you all will inshallah commemorate. We will all inshallah together. So we have a great opportunity to acquire taqwa, zuhud, acquire, the halat of awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and a closer connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you see how beautifully Allah has designed this. Obviously, if everybody is fasting at the same time, people will come together, obviously. People will come together. Because if all the believers, they are fasting, then they will fast together. So it'll become a cultural thing as well, an experience where the mosque people will take care of the mosque and they will come together and organize things. And families will also come together. There will be a certain cultural, changes and adaptation to facilitate, this kind of a schedule where you have to wake up this early, do your sahari, and everybody has to learn a lot of small and big things. For example, your state of taharat when you start your fast, and where to end your fast, keeping track of the time, when is Fajr, when is Maghrib, all of those things, it involves so many. And then it also involves this niyat of doing it for Allah and to know what am I abstaining from. So there are things you have to know that, okay, if you don't learn about them, you're going to end up breaking your fast. So again, you have to, so Allah has asked us to do that because it is only in the context of self-control, self-improvement, and this eye on what is going on inside me. It's for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has special favors for those who observe this month. Obviously, all those who can fast will fast. There are some who cannot fast because of they're sick or traveling or whatever the situation is. And again, they respect this month and importance of the Holy Quran, that read as much of Quran as possible, because that will again connect you and keep you, because without having knowledge, how can you go a certain path? You must first educate yourself. Where am I going? Quran, it provides that manual that carries all that information. I will mention a little bit about zuhud from the kalam of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Please support. We will inshallah speak about Mawla Amir al-Mu'mineen from tomorrow night. But zuhud is something very important. Zuhud and raghbat are opposites in dictionary. See, this month helps you acquire taqwa and zuhud and these qualities. And zuhud is in dictionary, it is the opposite of raghbat. Raghbat means to like something, to lean, to have interest in something, to be interested in something, And zuhud is to not be so attached to something. Zuhud and raghbat have opposite connotations. For example, we have hadith where Imam Ali has used the words raghbat and zuhud in opposite meanings, the same sense of dictionary, He says, do not show a lot of interest or raghbat in someone who is not interested in you. وَلَا تَرْغَبَنَّ فِي مَنْ زَهِدَ عَنْكَ. If someone is turning away from you, do not chase him. Do not, cling to that person who is not interested in you. In another place, he says, that if you continue to go after someone who is not interested in you, this humiliates you. This is zullu nafsin. Raghbatuka fi zahidin, your interest in someone who is not interested in you, fika zullu nafsin. This is a degrading yourself. You humiliate yourself, embarrass yourself. When a person respects himself or herself, he will not go after someone who is not interested in you. So, obviously you should maintain your self-respect as well. So raghbat and zuhud in that sense are opposite in meaning. I hope that's clear. I was just giving examples from the hadith. But zuhud in Islamic teachings has a very specific meaning. Imam Ali alayhi salam in Nahjul Balagha, he says that zuhud is that you do not grieve too much what you have lost. The worldly things, for example, money, you lost your job, you lost your money, or your stocks go down, as they say, or you lose an opportunity or something. The Kayla, Imam Ali says in these verses of Quran, I found the meaning of zuhud. He says that to not be too depressed over what you have lost. وَلَا تَفْرَحُوا بِمَا آتَاكُمْ, and to not be overjoyed with what has been granted to you. So our sadness and happiness should not revolve around worldly things all the time. If a person is happy, you should not look happy because you've gotten more money. You should seem happy also when you've got, let's say, a tawfiq of ziyarat, for example, tawfiq of ihya of Laylatul Qadr, for example. You should seem happy because you were able to read some more Quran. You should look happy because, let's say, you arrange someone's marriage, or you helped a poor person, or you were able to teach someone some good things. You feel happy about service, volunteering, about helping other people, about, let's say, removing some bad habits from yourself or acquiring some new habits. Our happiness and sorrow should circle around spiritual things more than the worldly things. But what we see is that we are mostly happy around worldly things. He said your sadness should not all be around worldly things. If you're sad because you lost, if you see someone's face sad, you will, like, say 100% sure he must have lost his money or job or something. But why aren't we sometimes sad about, let's say, you are not able to read Quran for a few days, or you did not do your salat on time? Let's say you are sad because you missed your khums date, you could not pay your khums on time, or because, let's say, something was wajib, or you could not teach your son or your daughter how to pray, and you feel sad that, I wish I had done it on time, or feeling sad that I've taught my son or my daughter, but she's not, let's say, performing it correctly, and you feel concerned about that. Why is our sadness and happiness all the time around worldly things? See, this is one thing about zuhud. Another part of Nahjul Balagha in the sermon number 81, Imam Ali alayhi salam says, Ayyuhan nas, O people, what is zuhud? He says, he defines zuhud in a religious, spiritual sense. Az-zahadatu qasrul amal. It is to limit your ambitions. Wa-shukru inda ni'am, and gratitude over favors. Wa-tawarru inda al-maharim, and to exercise abstinence regarding the prohibited, the haram things. The three things about zuhud. First thing is, O people, what is zuhud? Az-zahada. Zuhud is qasrul amal or qisarul amal. It means amal with alif. see, we all have plans. I mean, you can't live your life without a plan. I mean, everybody needs a plan by your studies, your career, your family relationships, your other things, social activities. You need health. You need plan for your health. If you're struggling with some health issues, if you're struggling with some, let's say, mental health issues, you should have some kind of plan for recovery. So we always have to have some kind of plan. You can't just wake up every day and go about whatever comes to your mind. You have to follow a certain plan. Okay, this course let's say I want to graduate, I want to work in this field, do this, whatever. So you have to have some plan. But sometimes the ambitions, they exceed those rational, limits or expectations. For example, instead of saying, okay, for example, a person has a $4,000 salary, but he overspends, goes around, spends $8,000 because he just loves this, whatever he's trying to buy. Now this is, or like he's a person who is making plans that nonsensical plans. I deal with a lot of mental health patients. Sometimes you find somebody with, let's say, some kind of condition, it goes around buying cars like crazy, goes ahead, next month buys another car, and 2 months later goes ahead, buys another car with his dad's credit card. I mean, like khasrul amal, people who are or like you making plans that are not realistic plans. Okay, you will graduate in 4 years, then you will do whatever specialization, or if not, will get some kind of experience. And you said, okay, no, my plan is by next year, I want to make $100,000 a year. And you have just freshly entered your college. Now this is, I mean, obviously I'm giving a very radical kind of example, but you can have ambitions or desires that are either totally unrealistic or just too hard to achieve. And you put yourself in a lot of hardship because of these kind of unrealistic goals. But then people have other kind of goals too. For example, some of these desires are just constantly piling up. Like people who do addictions, like different kinds of problems they got into, and they just can't let go of them. And they keep wanting more and can't like set some kind of limits. Well, shukr in the ni'am, have gratitude for the favors Allah has granted. What tawarru' and al maharim. And wara means ability inside a person's, let's say, when you acquire a certain quality inside, then it becomes somewhat easy to control yourself when you are faced with a haram situation. So, zuhud is this. Zuhud is this kind of state of the soul where a person can do these things. It means, see, in all these three, you see that the aql is in control. When a person can have realistic goals, her mind is in better shape, right? Control. Shukr in the ni'am, can think of the ni'mat, ni'mat, the favors of Allah. Allah's favors are not only food and water. Allah's favor are just, unlimited. I mean, it's not possible to count them. For example, Allah's favor is that He protected you from harm, or He protected your reputation. Let's say you did something wrong, but Allah did not. Allah protected your respect. This is also a ni'mat. You go up all the way to ni'mats of wilayat, for example. Allah has given ni'mat of wilayat to all of us. Shukr in the ni'am. Now that we have, let's see, we have coming to the fact that Allah has given us Quran. Shukr of this ni'mat is to read it. Allah has given us ni'mat of Ramadan. The shukr of this ni'mat is that you come together. Let's say tonight we are talking about Ramadan and these favors of Allah. Shukr in the ni'am. Tawarru' in the maharim. Again, who is going to have that much self-control to stay away from haram? obviously who can think, a person who can exercise self-control, who can look at the consequences of these actions. Okay, what happens if I start going around talking behind people's back and whatever, like people who sometimes backbite others as if they're just having fun with this information that they got. So who does that? Who can control himself? Whose aql is strong. So you develop, that's why in fasting, one of the benefits of fasting is hikmah. It helps your aql mature. It puts your aql back in the driver's seat, in other words. If our desires are in the driver's seat, we try to turn this around somewhat in this holy month, put the aql in the driver's seat again. So, okay. Now I know this is not something I have to do. No, I can avoid it. It feels like I have to, but actually I can avoid. For example, somebody who just loves to smoke, and so you can stay away from smoking for a month. You can see, hey, I thought I could never live without smoking, but for a whole month I was away from it. I avoided it for half of the cycle of the day. Well, you can see that, so it is possible. Aql starts thinking more rationally. Well, that is very important. That is very important that you actually experience the peace you get out of this freedom from addiction to material things, freedom from overindulgence, that you feel that there's no end to it. And you say, oh, actually, I was able to stay away from this thing which was haram for a whole month. Let's say a person is able to abstain from something haram for, let's say, not a whole month, like a few days of this Ramadan. Say, wow, I could do that. Gives you a sense of power and control over your desires, which is so important. I think I will stop at this because I don't know your local time, how much time we have for today. Are we done with time, or we still have some?
We still have some time. We can go up to 8:30.
What time is it now?
It's 8:23. We have 7 more minutes. We can even go more. Technically, we can continue until Azan time, which is around 8:40. But we definitely, for this section, we still have 5 to 10 minutes more.
Okay, I'll say a few more words, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. I know your community. It's a wonderful community, and this year has been pretty hard for everybody. I mean, this year's been unprecedented. What has happened to all of us. So, if you feel, for example, different unusual, stresses in your life, then you should look at the fact that everybody is struggling in one way or another. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, this Ramadan, by the barakat of this month, will make our lives somewhat easier, that we can strive towards our goals, worldly goals, spiritual goals, all Islamic. Even the things about this world are all part of our deen. That when you say, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana, oh Allah, give me the best of this life and the goodness of this life, and so, I mean, there is no separation from deen and dunya. It's all intertwined. Inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us during this month. So yes, I just wanted to bring this introduction because Imam Ali alayhi salam's life is such a perfect example of zuhud. One of the thinkers, writers, he says that if you look at Imam Ali's life, in his zuhud, you will, if you read about his statements about zuhud, or look at, some stories about the way what he used to wear and what he used to eat, you might think that you're talking about someone who is living in a cave away from worldly things, or in some kind of a monastery or something like that, and just praying all the time, and have nothing to do with society and politics and war and whatever else is going on. So Imam Ali's life is such a combination of all the greatest virtues. But obviously we cannot become like him, but we can find the direction by just, so these nights, which is very important that we learn about some of his great virtues, so we can correct our course, and we can, if we are feeling interested about Imam Ali alayhi salam as a role model, if we really can get inspiration that, wow, what a great person he was, what did he do, how did he do that, it will create that motivation that you continue to read about him. Because one problem with us is that we look at things very superficially when it comes to faith and religion. In our own areas, in our own disciplines, in our own jobs, in our own majors, we are doing, we go into depth. We study in depth, we specialize, all of that. But when it comes to our faith, we look at different websites here and there, hearsay, somebody said this, one speaker we heard over here, part of somebody's lecture, and then we forget about it. So we don't like follow things to take it in an organized fashion. You look at religion as something that requires consistent study, discussion, research, and taking notes and all of that. No, somehow it's not taken as a serious subject. It's something, it's something, okay, you need to finish your Quran. I don't know. Okay, when Muharram comes, we have to do Azhar, which is very important, Azadari, which actually keeps us into this fold of Islam. But to really follow it to the next level, where you say, okay, just as I look at other things in life, at least that much attention I should pay to something important that I find in religion, that, okay, is Imam Ali that great? And if these examples that we hear about him, okay, if it is true, because all we are exposed to nowadays is Hollywood and nonsense, and none of that is real. They exaggerate their heroes, and and then the real persons, sometimes you see them on TV and next day there's a scandal and they bring him down and just gone. And there's some kind of basketball player or movie star or whatever, and then stays in the news for five days or 5 months, and then they're gone. As if he was the worst person on earth with one scandal or one case in the court or whatever. You need something you can hold on to, you can keep your whole life, something you can aspire to follow and be like, that is Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. Again, I cannot make you think like that. MashaAllah, you all already believe in it, but I'm saying this has to be ingrained deep in our soul to feel that energy around Imam Ali alayhi salam's personality, that, just fall in love with him, such a degree that you can't be without him. That every day you try to connect. Ali is the center of Tashayyu. Ali's love of Ali, Walayat of Imam Ali is just the most important thing that defines us. The issue of Imamat of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us all, guide us, and give us the best reward in this life and the next. Sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi tayyibin at-tahirin.
Allahumma